TV Gateway Gazette program. We broadcast live every Thursday at 8:30 from our London studio. This is News and Views channel, and we highlight the news from across the world. We have different people for problems, to solve the problems, but our guest tonight has the solution for all the problems. He is the man who spent more than 50 years in his professional life. I will be talking with him about the domestic policies, domestic politics, foreign policies, foreign politics, international relations, contemporary Islam, how he maintains his relations with Christian, Jewish, Muslims, and balance them. It is very hard. The man I'm talking about, none other than Mr. Akbar Ahmed, Ambassador Akbar Ahmed. He is the chair of Ibn Khaldun, a study at American University in Washington, D.C. Mr. Ahmed dedicated more than 3 decades to the civil service of Pakistan, and he was Pakistan's High Commissioner to the UK and Ireland. Senior Fellow at the Brookings Institutions, the first Distinguished Chair of Middle East and Islamic Studies at the US Naval Academy, the Iqbal Fellow Chair of Pakistan Studies and Fellow of Salveen College at the University of Cambridge, and teaching positions at Harvard and Princeton Universities, visiting professor at the University of Cambridge Center of Gender Studies, and is acknowledged as a notable person at London and Birmingham University. He is very educated, graduated from the University of Punjab and University of Birmingham, and later attended Cambridge University and done a master. He graduated with PhD in anthropology at the School of Oriental and African Studies, University of London. We welcome to our guest Professor Akbar Ahmed, Ambassador Akbar Ahmed. Professor Saab, we welcome you to our show.
Thank you so much, John. It's a great honor, and आपने इतने तपाक से, इतने प्यार से मेरा तारुफ किया. I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
और मैंने किसी जगह पे is there any mistake in my introduction? I have taken the information, but I believe that the information I have provided to my viewers, if I have to introduce yourself, I think I needed at least 2 to 3 days to update about you.
नहीं, आप शर्मिंदा कर रहे हैं जॉन साहब. आपने बहुत अच्छा इंट्रोडक्शन दिया है, और what strikes me is in hearing my own introduction, the beautiful introduction by you, what strikes me is कि अभी तक at this age मैं university upon university में जिंदगी गुजार रहा हूँ, because I feel I'm just a student. I still have so much to learn. ये Socrates ने कहा था कि the only knowledge I have is that I have no knowledge. मतलब है कि हम हर वक्त we are in the position of students to acquire knowledge.
Akbar Saab, I have a lot of things that I need to discuss with you, and I tell you that I would like to start because I watch your so many interviews, so many columns I read about you, and I just wanted to tell, because you are first time appearing through our channel. Could you please just tell me about your early age, because I know that you were born in Allahabad and then you moved to Pakistan, or just tell me that your early, how did you come to civil services, because I mentioned about the civil services as
John Sahab, I've had a very ordinary life. My father, like many millions of people, migrated in 1947, August, May. He was given a high position in government, so he opted for Pakistan, and in August came to Karachi. I was just 4 years old then, 4 saal ka tha. And then very quickly he sent me to Burn Hall, Abbottabad, where I was very fortunate. I was educated by the Catholic priests there, who were wonderful. They taught us discipline, they taught us different subjects. I was fascinated by the English language, and I learned to love English authors like Dickens and Shakespeare. I did a lot of reading at school, and they taught us to, above all, to play by the rules. ये बड़ा famous उनका saying था कि don't think about winning or losing, but play by the rules. तो हम हंसते थे, we used to say यार ये पादरियों ने हमें मरवा दिया because हम rules के साथ play कर रहे हैं और बाहर निकलते हैं तो पूरे पाकिस्तान no one bothers about the rules. So it was a kind of joke. तो उसके बाद मैं विलायत आया, I did my PhD and I then joined the Civil Service of Pakistan. And in the civil service, I served in Balochistan, in the tribal areas, the Punjab, and then in East Pakistan. And I was in the field in East Pakistan 71 May, when the country broke. So that's the second time in my life when I saw so much violence and chaos around me, and I just wondered how human beings can be so short-sighted and are capable of such cruelty to each other. बहुत मैंने So at a very young age, I was seeing so much conflict and violence around me. And I think, John साहब, मैं सोचता हूँ इस पर, बहुत मैं इस पर सोचता हूँ. And I think that is what drives my sense of interfaith activity. मुझसे लोग जब पूछते हैं तो मैं सोचता हूँ कि why am I so passionate? मैंने जब देखा है at that young age, Sikh, Hindu, Muslim एक दूसरे को मार रहे हैं in the most brutal manner. And I used to just wonder, why do they have so much hatred? और अभी भी आप देख रहे हैं इंडिया में unfortunately less in Pakistan, लेकिन unfortunately वहाँ पर भी occasions होते हैं. So this is a big question that we have as human beings, और हमें इस पे काबू पाना है, ये जो हमारा जज्बा है towards violence.
मैं जब आपकी प्रोफाइल को देख रहा था तो I was thinking that how would I describe your personality? You have written dramas. You played dramas. You produced a movie on Jinnah. You have written 12 books, which I have seen, and I'm very fortunate that I got the opportunity to see you personally some 8 years back, which is really an honor for me to listen. And I watch your several interviews. But if my viewers wanted to know and the best. Describe your personality. How do you describe your personality as an author of so many books, as a writer, as a humanist, how would you describe your personality?
Jan Sahab, I would say that I am a humanist who is becoming aware of the world around me, who appreciates the world and who wonders. The Quran Sharif में मुसलमान को कहा है कि look around you, look at the different nations and the different people. जो कुरान शरीफ में मुसलमान को this is an order to the Muslim. और तुम appreciate करो कि हमने ये इन लोगों को बनाया. उसमें ये नहीं कहा है कि हमने क्रिश्चियन बनाया, मुसलमान बनाया, हिंदू बनाया, लड़ते रहो सबसे. कुरान शरीफ में लिखा है कि तुम इन सबको देखो और ताज्जुब करो कि हमने बनाया इनको, and you must appreciate each other because through them you will appreciate me. और ये हमारे जो रसूल पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, our prophet, in his last address to humanity, he said this. He said that there will be no distinction between a black and a white, between an Arab and a non-Arab. You will be judged by the character of your actions, judged by the content of your character. ये क्या बड़ी बात की है? And this is in the 7th century, आप सोचें. So these are some things that affect me. When I look around and I see this wonderful civilization, just we are part of this. अब you have a Pakistani background.
Yeah.
अब आप जानते हैं कि पाकिस्तान में Sikh faith है, बड़ा direct link है उनका. Hinduism है, Hinduism के जो sacred texts हैं, many of them are mentioned in what is now Pakistan. The history of Pakistan is so rich. मोहनजोदारो है, हड़प्पा है. फिर हमारे अपने इस्लाम में, the Sufis, great scholars, the saints in that area of Pakistan is very rich. और उसके बावजूद आप देखते हैं टेंशन है, मुस्लिम नॉन मुस्लिम तो छोड़े, आपस में मुसलमान. एंड ये भी not only Islam, लेकिन कायदे आज़म बार बार ये कह के गए, this nation, everyone has a right to it, every citizen. आपको याद होगा August 47 की famous speech में, मैंने ये जिना फिल्म है जिसपे मैंने बनाई थी with Christopher Lee, the documentary that was made, the 4 projects थे कायद project पर, एक जिना quartet, एक feature थी, documentary, एक academic book और एक comic book. 4 projects for 4 different sections of society. I tried to cover all of society. ये मैंने emphasize किया था कि Qaed's vision was the vision of a plural society,
Very
an
good.
inclusive society. और आप कहते हैं सबूत क्या है, तो मैं आपको बताता हूँ. ये आते ही हुए 47 में अगस्त में कायदे आज़म भी उसी वक्त पहुंचे. पहली चीज he did, he attended a service in the big church in Karachi. और Christmas 47 December में he spent in a church with the Christian community. तो ये अगर उनका रवैया था towards the minorities, or there was some riots against Hindus, and he jumped into the mob to try to stop the riot, and he then said, I have declared myself the protector general of the minority community. तो आप बताएं, he's clearly saying कि every minority member will be safe here because हम इनको ये guarantee दे रहे हैं, इसी basis पे हम पाकिस्तान बना रहे हैं. अब आप अगर minorities पे चढ़ रहे हैं, उनको तंग कर रहे हैं, उनके गिरजे जला रहे हैं, उन पे हमला कर रहे हैं, then you are violating the vision of कायदे आज़म and the promise of कायदे आज़म. और ये दोनों तरफ है, इंडिया में भी है और यहाँ पर भी है. तो मैं तो ये एज अ स्कॉलर बार बार ये बातें कहता हूँ बिकॉज हमें कोशिश करनी है, ब्रदर जॉन, to try to live up to our ideal, not to come down from the ideal. So as a scholar, हम और क्या कर सकते हैं? This is all I can do. And you ask me to describe myself, I'm simply an ordinary student. मैं तो scholar भी नहीं कहूँगा, student who's discovering the world. And मैं हैरान हो रहा हूँ at the beauty of the world and the inspiration that I take from people. And at the same time, I despair at the violence and the stupidities of people on the earth who are making their lives worse, not better. So this is the task I've taken upon myself. And you're right, I'm making films, I'm writing, I'm speaking talks, media, and I'm trying to do my best in my own very limited way. तो आपको पता है कि एक मामूली प्रोफेसर कैंपस पर पढ़े, उसका महदूद किस्म का उसकी पहुंच होती है.
And Akbar Sahab, just tell me that how do you manage this portfolio? A number of jobs you are doing at the same time. You are meeting with the Jewish people, and when I read your biodata, and I realized that you are a member and chairman of so many organizations. You are meeting with the Jewish, you are meeting with the Christians, you are meeting with the Muslim, you are meeting with other faiths, all the faiths. How do you manage all these things?
John साहब, this is a very good question. You could say कि मैंने अपनी जिंदगी एक किस्म की डेडिकेट करी है बिल्कुल towards this effort at, आप समझ लें उसको कह लें, interfaith bridge building. 9/11 उस दिन मैं क्लास में था. तो अब आप सोचें, आप तो पाकिस्तानी बैकग्राउंड में मुझे जानते हैं, मैं क्लास में था और किसी ने, स्टूडेंट ने मुझे कहा कि वो हवाई जहाज पेंटागन को जो 5 मील है कैंपस से, plane has flown into the Pentagon. As that was happening, मेरे दिमाग में ये बात आई कि Americans don't know very much about Islam, and Muslims don't know very much about America.
Yeah,
very limited. And I said, my God, ये जो gap in between बढ़ेगा, और because of that gap there will be violence, there will be Islamophobia, and there will be all kinds of problems. So I said, every Muslim must now become a scholar, an ambassador, and a bridge builder. ये जो आपका सवाल है, बहुत अच्छा सवाल है. I just threw myself in. और उस दिन से today I don't think एक 24 घंटे की साइकिल में मैंने आराम किया है. I've taken off and I've said, अब ये मेरी छुट्टी है, आज ईद है, आज क्रिसमस है. I've just worked non-stop. क्योंकि Islam is involved, Islam is a global religion, very misunderstood throughout the world. So I'm constantly speaking, writing, traveling, and you have to pay a price because the result is your focus is entirely on your work. I regret that sometimes because I neglect my family and I feel bad about that. Wonderful wife, wonderful kids, and I feel that I've put so much into making this happen. But then I feel if I don't do it, what will people like me? Then who will do it? So in that sense, I think this is the great challenge of our times.
Akbar Sahab, the last book, because I know that your books, mostly your books, published by Brookings Institution, which is one of the largest policy making organization, if I'm not wrong. So the last book which came, that was in 2018, right? That was Journey into Europe. Is that correct, sir? Or is there any other book?
Yes, Journey into Europe. John Saab, in fact, it was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize by Brookings, and that was the fourth book of the series. ये भी बहुत यूनिक है. I don't think many social scientists have done this. मैंने 4 किताबें दी, 4 studies, long studies. ये नहीं कि 2 हफ्ते में किताब लिखी जाए. Many authors are very fast in their writing. I took my time. I went to the field. I did research. मैं अपने students को साथ ले गया to do research. I gathered the data. और उस basis पर मैंने 4 major studies लिखी for Brookings. Brookings Press published all 4. And ये जो last है, it is on Europe, looking at Muslims as a community in Europe. और आपको हैरानगी होगी आजकल, you know, this is a big topic in Europe, आपके इंग्लैंड में बड़ा topic है. But the contributions of Muslims in Europe are absolutely amazing. Science and astronomy, learning and architecture and poetry, बहुत जबरदस्त contribution. और then उसके बाद 1492 के बाद changes took place in Spain, Andalusia, वो वहाँ से मुसलमान निकाले गए, और फिर the drama shifted to the east, the Ottoman Empire, और अब फिर millions of Muslims have come through as immigrants, and there's another crisis. So it's very important that Muslims understand their own history, they understand their own contributions to Europe, and they mustn't feel कि हम एक कोई alien मुल्क में हैं, ये कोई alien मज़हब है. Muslims have lived with alongside Christians and Jews and atheists in Europe for centuries, और बहुत ज़बरदस्त उनका contribution है और interaction है, और ऐसी ऐसी बातें हैं. जॉन साहब, जब टाइम मिलेगा we'll talk. But अंदालूसिया में Ibn Firnas was the first man who attempted flight. वो आप सोचें, मुसलमान उस ज़माने में इल्म, knowledge को बहुत तरजीह दी जाती थी. Rulers used to encourage scholars. He was a great mathematician, scholar, and he was fascinated with flight. ये मैं बात कर रहा हूँ 9th century की, कर्दोबा में. So he attempted flight from a hill. 10 मिनट वो उड़े हैं before he fell. Now you may say, क्या सबूत है इसका? Cordoba में there's a beautiful bridge in the shape of wings of the plane, in honor of Ibn Firnas. Chand par there's a crater named after Ibn Firnas. Chand par there's a crater named after Ibn Rushd, the great philosopher of Andalusia. तो बहुत इनका contribution लोगों को पता नहीं है. मैं challenge करता हूँ आपको, आप पूछे अपने मुसलमान भाइयों से in England, किसको ये बात पता है? They don't. ये fault जो है औरों की नहीं है, हमारी fault है, हमारे culture की fault है. We should study our own history, our own culture, and Europeans will appreciate that कि भाई तुम आए हो यहाँ, you become part of our society, and you're contributing something to our society. तो ये जो किताब है, जॉन साहब, इसका नाम है Journey into Europe.
Yes.
किताब है and film है, मैंने साथ साथ इसके film भी बनाई called Journey into Europe.
And now we are going back to Pakistan, because I know that you were also a political agent in the tribal area, including Waziristan. I believe that that was a very hard job for you when you served there, or is that easy when you were there, when you were deputed there?
It's a very good question, because Waziristan was considered the toughest job in British India. It was so tough that at one stage the Viceroy of India, Lord Curzon, ये बड़ा मशहूर Viceroy था, he took charge directly of Waziristan. Waziristan इतना tough इलाका था कि at one stage they had more troops, British troops, in Waziristan than the rest of the subcontinent. And whole of India, अब आप सोचें, more troops in Waziristan than the rest of India. That's how tough it was. But it was a challenge, and again, I will say that by the grace of God, I had a very peaceful time. There were some difficult challenges, but I believe that if you are sincere, if you work hard, if people know that you are sincere and you're working hard, then they are with you, and then there's no problem that cannot be solved. And the most important thing, John Saab, that you had to take the people with you, not to use force on them, not to humiliate them, insult them. Most important thing, they had to feel that this chap is trying. He may not always succeed, and I didn't always succeed, but they knew that I would do my best to solve the problems. And this was the same method I used in Balochistan. I was commissioner of 3 divisions consecutively, one after the other. And again, I had no major problems. And the chief minister, Jam Kadir, very famous Baloch leader, he used to joke with me. He used to say, Commissioner Saab, जहाँ मैं जाता हूँ लोग कंप्लेन करते हैं, गिले करते हैं अगेंस्ट द कमिश्नर, और जहाँ आई टेक यू अलॉन्ग विथ मी वो कहते हैं इस कमिश्नर को हमारे पास छोड़ो, इसको मत व्हाट इज योर सीक्रेट? बड़ा हंसते थे. Then used to tell people, I know he's a scholar, with his background, he's इनका रिश्ता है सैयद अहमद खान के, so he has the scholarly background, and therefore I understand where he's coming from. So लोगों ने कदर की, इज्जत की, प्यार दिया, and I didn't have a problem. So these are some of my posters.
And now I come to the foreign policy, because you served as a High Commissioner, Pakistan High Commissioner to UK, and you understand the policies very well, foreign policies, international relations. You even give advice to the US government and different governments across the world. And I just wanted to ask you, in context of Pakistan, who makes the policies, foreign policies of Pakistan?
You must remember that every nation promotes its own interests. Every nation, whether it's a big nation like China, or India with over 1 billion people, or America, which is the superpower, but every nation will promote what is in its own interests, number one. Number two, alliances are formed, but they are changing, they're not permanent. Pakistan ko, United States ko le, at one stage we were very close. इतने close थे कि जब President Ayub Khan यहाँ आए थे Washington, वो ज़माना था that President Kennedy and his wife received him at the airport.
Yes.
That they gave a formal dinner for him at Mount Vernon, George Washington के घर पर. A state dinner, ये पहली दफा हुआ है. अब उसके बाद नहीं हुआ. They really honored him. It was amazing. और अब आप देख रहे हैं हमारा क्या असर होता है international arena में. Now that is because a nation will only be respected when it respects itself. आप अगर economically sound हैं, इत्तेफाक है, law and order है, you're doing well, आपके citizens are doing well, उनके हकूक महफूज हैं, then people will respect you. If you have problems internally and people are constantly reporting on those internal problems, तो आपकी जो इज्जत है वो कम होती है. और लोग पूछते हैं, मुझसे पूछते हैं कि भाई एक वो जमाना था और अब देखिए हमारी क्यों. तो मैं the answer is very simple. पाकिस्तान के ज़माने में people had a lot of respect for Pakistan, and people felt that this is a country which has to be taken seriously. I was then a student in England, and मुझे याद है how much respect there was for Pakistan as a country, in spite of all the background and cultural differences and so on. If you remember, Khan जब England पहुंचे, the Duke of Edinburgh picked him up and brought him to London. And वहाँ Queen of England उनका इंतजार कर रही थी to receive him. So you know that there was that kind of respect for him. Unfortunately, now things have changed, and Pakistan has to work hard to regain its position and its reputation. And I hope that will inspire all young Pakistanis to work harder, build up their reputation, so that Pakistan's reputation in turn builds up the reputation of the individual Pakistanis. I know कि इंग्लैंड में इतने असर रसूख वाले पाकिस्तानी माशाल्लाह members of parliament, mayors हैं, आपके लंदन के मेयर पाकिस्तानी, all proud of these Pakistanis.
And Akbar Sahab, in terms of our relations, UK's relations with Pakistan, and I remember that I read an article which you have written, and it was repeated article, and even when I read yesterday, Swat, Wali of Swat, and I believe that from your wife's side, I think they were the people who accommodated when Queen Elizabeth and and her husband visited in 1960. They were their special guest. Is that correct?
Very, very correct. And it was a historic visit because Her Majesty, when she accepted the invitation to visit Pakistan, she added that she would like to visit Swat. Now,
Yeah.
Swat in those days, the roads were not very good. Communication wasn't very good. So the government of Pakistan felt that how would they accommodate her in that small, in those days, very rural and cut-off area. But she and the Duke went there, and the Wali of Swat hosted them, put them up in his own palace. He had a small palace, a modest palace. And it was a memorable visit because they were there for 3 days, and they had wonderful memories. And I know this because I had the privilege of, when I was High Commissioner, of meeting her, and she mentioned this, and the Duke mentioned this. They asked very warmly about Wali and his son. So Pakistan made a big impact on the Queen, and she and her family have shown throughout a soft spot for Pakistan. आपने देखा कि Prince William and his wife visited Pakistan a few months ago, and again they expressed their happiness at being in Pakistan. They went up to Chitral, they traveled around, and the people of Pakistan loved them. I think there's some very interesting cultural or historical fact that people of Pakistan have that soft spot for the royal family, and the royal family has always been very gracious and very kind to Pakistan, and have given them that respect which Pakistanis sometimes don't get from international leaders.
We are going for a 1 minute's break, and we will come back.
Air India introduces additional flights from London Heathrow to Mumbai and a new direct flight from London Stansted to Mumbai from 14th February 2020. Fly in luxury on Air India Dreamliner with extra legroom in economy and flatbeds in business class. For attractive fares, contact your travel agent now or visit airindia.in.
हेस्टन हाइड वेस्ट लंदन के सबसे शानदार होटल्स में से एक with 303 air conditioned rooms and suites, one of the largest banquet spaces in London, meeting room for up to 1200 people, conferences, musical function, weddings या कोई भी गैदरिंग, मनपसंद भोजन, शानदार आयोजन और बेहतरीन वेन्यू, 400 गाड़ियों की पार्किंग के साथ Heston Hyde. For bookings, call 0208 572 1818.
The Akshay Patra Foundation has taken on a massive initiative to make sure that millions of people receive a freshly prepared plate of food. We are now serving over 1 million families, children, daily wage earners, migrant labor, and generally people who are deprived of a basic plate of food. We just do not want anyone to go to bed hungry. Please join us in this massive endeavor. This is a fantastic opportunity for all of us to come together and help millions. Every little penny that you donate will make a massive difference to hundreds of people. Thank you.
With me is Ambassador Akbar Ahmed, and we will continue our discussion with Ambassador Akbar Ahmed. Akbar Sahab, we were discussing before we go for a break, and I just wanted to check with you because you were educated in a Christian school, and your relations with the Pakistani Christians are excellent. And for my viewers, I just wanted to update you. Even when your life was on, I have something which I would like to update to my viewers, which would be very interesting, that you also celebrated Christmas when you were there in FC College, and I just wanted to read for them the threats on your life. Professor Ahmed has also risked his own life in trying to build bridge between his Muslim and Christian friends in Pakistan. In December 2030, he gave a lecture at Four-Man Christian College despite the police warning that the Pakistani Taliban had dispatched bombers to the city as an act of revenge for the killings of former Pakistani Taliban. Even you have taken the risk and you attended this and you celebrated the Christmas. Just tell me about this.
John, I've believed all my life, having lived through the violence in 47 जब मैं 4 साल का था, then East Pakistan में 71 में, कि ये जो चीजें होती है, मौत और जिंदगी, ये ऊपर से फैसला होता है कब हम जाएंगे, कब हम रहेंगे, कितने दिन रहेंगे हम. तो this is out of our control. तो अगर ये हकीकत है, then why should we live in fear? और आपको अगर एक्शन लेना है, काम करना है, तो you must do it without fear, because you should only fear God and no one else. मेरे लिए आपने Christians का जिक्र किया है. I must mention that I have been educated by the Christians. They were like our fathers, they're like our parents. Really, everything we are, we were formed by the Christians. very, very grateful. मेरे क्लास में वसीम सज्जाद थे, who became president, acting president of Pakistan. Mahmood Ali Durrani, who was ambassador to the US. Like Khalid Salam, Tariq Afridi was ambassador for Pakistan. तो ये सब, these all products of Burnhall, मेरा school था. Tahir Ayub Khan. Now, as students, we were very conscious कि these priests have given their lives. क्या इनकी sacrifice देखें? एक different माशरे में, different मुल्क में, they've given their life to educate us. My parents were such believers in them कि कभी-कभी हम जाके घर जाके complain करते थे कि वो father बड़ा सख्त है or something, and they'd say, don't you dare speak against the priests. They're educating you. They've given their lives and dedicated to you, and you're complaining. तो हमें वो shut up कर देते थे. So that was the spirit with which we grew up. फिर मैं FC College गया, and there again FC College में I saw कि how wonderful those priests were who had dedicated their lives to educating us Pakistanis. So really, I think that we should be very grateful to the Christian community who are there, not only as very loyal Pakistanis. Who can be a more loyal Pakistani than Dr. Shera, जो मेरा बिल्कुल भाई है. It's completely, मैं तो समझता हूँ ये walking embodiment of Pakistan and the ideas of Qaid-e-Azam. So अगर ये इस किस्म का Christian आप पैदा कर रहे हैं in Pakistan, why should Pakistanis complain? Pakistanis should be very grateful to the Christians, and we should, as Pakistanis, the majority population of Muslims, and I'm an ordinary Sunni in the Muslim community. And we should reach out to not only the Christians. Yes, please, John.
Akbar Sahib, you mentioned about the Christians, and this question that was in my mind whenever I do an interview with any ambassador or High Commission of Pakistan. I will raise this question because as a Christian, because my background Pakistan, and I know very well that it is very hard to express my feeling in words, and especially when the people cannot visit to Israel. What is why they are our enemy? Why Pakistan treated Israel as their enemy, whereas so many Muslim countries has a very good relation, including Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Jordan. They have a very good relation. What is the dispute between Pakistan and Israel?
ये बहुत अच्छा सवाल है, जॉन, बहुत अच्छा सवाल है. We have discussed foreign policy, and there are 2 or 3 countries हमारे जो interest में है. India हमारा neighbor है. We have problems with them. Unfortunately, we fought wars. But हमें long term में we must think of a strategy where these 2 countries can live as good neighbors. And similarly with Israel, we have problems because we don't recognize Israel. And again, we must reach out to make sure कि people to people, culture to culture, at least there should be some coming and going. Because मेरे जो reactions हुए हैं, interactions हुए हैं, I found these people very open, very accessible, and very keen to make friends. So हमारे Islam में there's a saying कि if someone reaches out with his hand for friendship, हाथ आगे बढ़ाता है, तो आपको उससे ज़्यादा हाथ बढ़ाना है to make friends. ये हमारा culture है Islam. So these are some issues that the Foreign Office in Pakistan must think about, and again act in the best interest of Pakistan. And I think what is in the interest of Pakistan is to have more friends, not more enemies. बहुत important है because we are a middle-level country. We are not a major country. We are a middle-level country, important country. We are mid-level, and we have to reach out. And again, John Saab, I want to share with you and your viewers one of the biggest honors that I got was, as you know, the National Cathedral in Washington, and they dedicated an evensong. The Bishop of Washington dedicated the whole evensong to a Muslim scholar. अब आप इसके बरक्स opposite ये सोचें कि Imam of Lahore at the Badshah Mosque dedicating a Friday prayer to a Christian. ये इसका equivalent हो. अभी तक मैंने वो नहीं सुना है. But the bishop did this here in Washington with the senior rabbi. अब आप सोचेंगे. इसके साथ साथ Gandhi Center, Washington का, which is the #1 center in America, the director, Srimati Kamla, in fact gave me the first ever Gandhi Peace Award. अब आप सोचें एक Peace Award वो भी गांधी के नाम पर एक पाकिस्तानी को देगी. Such a great honor. और जब मैं I went to accept the honor, I was very honored. I requested her, I said, could we invite the Pakistan ambassador to come and also speak on that occasion? And the Pakistan ambassador, I saluted. We discussed this, and he said, there'll be some backlash in the Pakistan Foreign Office. So, don't see things in this protocol. But why? Ashraf Qazi, he came there in my class, Tipsy College, with our friends. He came there, he spoke very well, and people were very impressed that यहाँ इस forum पर have come together to create bridges. And we should understand this, that there are problems, military problems, political problems in different countries. But साथ we must not lose our humanity, our common humanity. And that people are people. If you reach out to them, they will reach back to you. आप हाथ बढ़ाएंगे, वो हाथ बढ़ाएंगे. This is what I have found. I have no political gain to get out of this. I have no material gain. All I am doing is simply carrying on my mission, which is to create bridges and to close the gap that has opened up, especially after 9/11. Because John, मैं देखता हूँ जो सफर करता है, जिस पे आपको इकबाल ने कहा था बिजली गिरती है तो बेचारे मुसलमान पर. आप अगर देखें मुसलमान का क्या हाल है, आप देखें कश्मीर, बिकॉज चाइना में, रोहिंगा जो है बर्मा में, हर जगह मुसलमान को बड़ा सख्त वक्त गुजरा है. मगरब में भी ऑल्सो देयर मेनी केसेस, कभी मस्जिद पे हमला हो गया, और फिर लोग मिसअंडरस्टैंड करते हैं बात, इस्लाम आपका टेररिस्ट रिलीजन. हमारा फर्ज है, बहुत आबादी है मुसलमानों की, 1.67 billion. They should produce scholars, books, documentaries, reach out to people, दोस्ती करें, बढ़ाएं अपना मसला थ्रू पीसफुल मीन्स. ये बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट है. और अगर ये नहीं करेंगे तो जो अभी पोजीशन हर जगह आप देख रहे हैं, मशरिक में, ईस्ट, नॉर्थ, साउथ, वी हैव प्रॉब्लम्स. क्रिश्चियंस कंप्लेन करते हैं, हिंदू कंप्लेन करते हैं. तो आई एम नॉट इन फेवर ऑफ दैट आर्गुमेंट कि आप सबसे लड़के बैठिए.
मुझे बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है जो मैं आपके सामने रखना चाहता हूँ, विच इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मी एंड ऑल्सो फॉर आवर व्यूअर्स. करिकुलम जो है पाकिस्तान में जो है वो चेंज हुआ है, सिलेबस बिल्कुल चेंज हुआ है, हिस्ट्री को बिल्कुल तोड़ दिया गया है. जो क्रिश्चियंस के जो अचीवमेंट्स थी उन्हें टोटली निकाल दिया गया है और हिस्ट्री को अपने मुताबिक किया है, और जिसकी वजह से जो हेट्रेड जो है इट हैज़ इंक्रीज, इट हैज़ नॉट बीन डिक्रीज. So what is the solution? What we have to do? What do you have to say as an educationist?
बेस्ट आंसर उसका ये है, और ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट सवाल है आपका. बेस्ट आंसर ये है, नफरत पैदा होती है जॉन इग्नोरेंस से. जब आप कुछ नहीं समझते हैं अबाउट द अदर पार्टी, जब आपको नॉलेज नहीं है, इग्नोरेंस है, तो उससे नफरत पैदा होती है. आप अजीब अजीब बातें सोचते हैं, मुसलमान ऐसे लोग हैं, ईसाई ऐसे लोग हैं. ये आम बात है. अगर आपको तासुब हटाना है, और यू मस्ट, बिकॉज ऑफ तासुब आपकी वायलेंस है, इंडिया में है, पाकिस्तान में. अगर आपको तासुब हटाना है तो तालीम नंबर 1 कदम है आपका. तालीम के बगैर ये बात नहीं हुई. मैंने देखा है जहाँ तालीम होती है, जहाँ एक दूसरे के कल्चर, रिलीजन, हिस्ट्री उसको आप समझते हैं, तो एकदम आपकी आंखें खुलती हैं. अगर आप एक ईसाई को बताएं, आप जो कह रहे हैं कि और सिलेबस की बात करें, कितने मुसलमानों को पता है कि हजरत ईसा का नाम कुरान शरीफ में नाम इज मोर देन द प्रॉफिट ऑफ इस्लाम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम. हजरत मैरी का पूरा चैप्टर डेडिकेटेड है टू मैरी. मेरी वाइफ, मेरी बेटियां सब जीसस एंड मेरी कॉन्वेंट में पढ़ी, नन्स ने पढ़ाया उनको. तो हाउ कैन एनी मुस्लिम फील कि भाई ये तो हमारे दुश्मन है? ये आपके इस्लाम में है. हजूर पाक ने खुद कहा था कि हजरत ईसा अलैहिस्सलाम जो है, प्रॉफिट सेड कि he is the person I respect the most, and no one, प्रॉफिट ने कहा था, no one in Christianity has more love and reverence to Jesus than I have. आपसे भी ज्यादा, जॉन जेम्स शेरा से भी ज्यादा. तो अगर ये है तो हमें भी वही फॉलो करना है ना. तो हमें इज्जत करनी है जीसस की, और हम जीसस की इज्जत करते हैं तो आपकी करनी है और जेम्स शेरा की करनी है. और अगर मैं जाता हूँ गिरजे जलाता हूँ, ईसाइयों पे हमले करता हूँ, देन ये मेरी इग्नोरेंस है, मेरी लैक ऑफ नॉलेज है. दैट इज माय पॉइंट कि जब तक आप स्कूलों में अच्छी किताबें नहीं पढ़ाएंगे, अच्छी चीजें सिलेबस पे नहीं लाएंगे, ये चलता रहेगा. आप ना इधर के रहेंगे ना उधर के. और ये इग्नोरेंस बाय द वे जॉन इज नॉट ओनली अमंग मुस्लिम्स. यहाँ मगरिब में मैंने देखा, जर्नी इनटू यूरोप में, थ्रू आउट यूरोप 1000 साल ऑफ हिस्ट्री. आप पूछें अपने दोस्तों से, पूछें इंग्लैंड में, पूछें दिस इज द हिस्ट्री ऑफ यूरोप. वो कहते हैं ग्रीक्स थे, रोमन्स थे, then there was the dark ages of 1000 years, फिर रेनेसांस आया, इनलाइटनमेंट आया, अमेरिका वाज डिस्कवर्ड इन द मॉडर्न। अब आप उनसे पूछें व्हाट वाज दिस डार्क एज? डार्क एज कहते हैं ये मुस्लिम पीरियड इन यूरोप। और वो डार्क एजेस वाज नॉट द डार्क एजेस, इट वाज गोल्डन एज। आप उनकी, मैंने जिक्र इसका पहले भी किया है, बट द आर्किटेक्चर, द एस्ट्रोनॉमी, द साइंस, द लिटरेचर, एंड अबव ऑल द इंटरफेथ एटीट्यूड टू सोसाइटी। ये अगर आप देखें तो आप हैरान हो जाएंगे कि ये यूरोप में हो रहा था। कर्दोबा में जहाँ अमीर रहता था खैलिफ, आपको पता है उसका चीफ मिनिस्टर यहूदी था, उसका एम्बेसडर कैथोलिक प्रीस्ट था।
जी।
ये तो हाल था एनवायरमेंट का। इट वाज लाइक अकबर, आपके मुगल एम्परर थे, अकबर के कैबिनेट में 4-5 तो ब्राह्मण थे अगेन। और हर हफ्ते वो, एज यू नो, प्रीस्ट को, रैबाइस को, इमामों को बुलाता था, एंड ही यूज्ड टू एनकरेज द डिस्कशन ऑफ रिलीजन सो दैट पीपल अंडरस्टूड ईच अदर। ये जो बातें हमें सोचनी है, जॉन, हमें सोचनी है, और आपको एज ए जर्नलिस्ट, इंटेलेक्चुअल, जमशेरा को ये बातें अपने लीडर्स को बतानी है, यहाँ इंग्लैंड में और पाकिस्तान में। ये नहीं कि आप कोई नई चीज की तरफ जा रहे हैं, भाई ये तुम्हारी अपनी तारीख है। अगर अकबर ये बातें कर सकता था 16th सेंचुरी, और ये अमीर अब्दुल रहमान कर सकता था 1000 साल पहले, आप क्यों नहीं कर सकते? आशा होता है कि आज कोई हम आ गया, कल हम आ गया।
You know, you just mentioned about James Shearer, and I remember that, to be very frank, because I was going through some comments people have described about you. And one of the very interesting comments I just read about you, which Salim Safi has said, that he is an ocean of learning, a mountain of wisdom. He is a unique in being the bridge between West and the Muslim world based on learning and travel. That was mentioned also in your program, which in your interview in 2018. And also I can tell you, as a South Asian Christian, I can say with pride, South Asia has produced two Akbar. Akbar the Great, the Emperor, who unified India, and Akbar Ahmed, who bring peace and harmony among the nations through research and knowledge. Akbar, who I know, known for decade, is my brother and my hero. So I thought it would be a good opportunity. He speaks very highly of you. If we can also invite in the program now Mr. James Shearer. Mr. Shearer, can you also hear us? आपको मेरी आवाज़ आ रही है?
जी आ रही।
मेरे साथ इस टाइम जो है विद मी इज़ राइट नाउ अकबर अहमद, एम्बेसडर अकबर अहमद जो है वो हमारे साथ हैं। तो मैंने कहा कि आज हम उनसे बहुत सारी बातें पूछें। मैंने उनके साथ बहुत सारी बातें की, और क्योंकि मैंने अखबार में देखा था तो मैंने ये सोचा कि इट वुड बी गुड that I can also take you in a program. So what do you say about how you are connected with Akbar Saab?
Well, first of all, I'm delighted to see Professor Akbar Ahmed, the greatest scholar, which is recognized nationally and internationally in terms of commitment to interfaith harmony. People talk, but this scholar is really committed to what he says. And I remember when I first met him in Cambridge, quite over 20 years ago, and he said, James, if we could convince the next door neighbor to have ethics and values, helping and understanding and serving each other, we have conquered the universe. And first start from your own home, and how your own family is treating others and treating each other. And that was number one. Number two, I have worked with him throughout the last two decades, and found him whenever there's a problem with the Christians, whether it's in Egypt, when they were blown up there, whether there's in Pakistan, whenever in Kuwait, when in Lahore, and in another part of the country, his voice is there. I remember lately when he was fed up listening what's going on, and when the Kuwait bomb blasted, and he said, "Stop killing Christians," and it was headlines in American and British and Pakistani paper. And for somebody speaking with such conviction and with boldly, without any fear, is a very godly person. In terms of our commitment to educational institution, and he himself has been educated through the missionary schools. And when Edward College case came, he behind the scene and openly he supported us to the hilt. And with whatever he could, he was our spokesperson. And I found him a man with the highest stature in terms of his dignity and honor and commitment to equality and fairness, and especially making sure that all faiths are equally treated and all faiths are equally valued, and all faiths are equally understood and benefiting from each other's values and traditions. And I could carry on talking whole life about Akbar. Akbar is a person which is a very not very like a person showing up person. When he became a High Commissioner here, and I was a regular visitor to the High Commission, and what he did was he established a Pakistan society in UK, and with the society called 452 organizations, Muslim organizations, Pakistani organizations, religious and social and cultural organizations. And when the High Commission's meeting was held, and he said, who should be leading you all? And what happened unanimously, he proposed my name and asked me to take over and be a chairman. And then the BBC interviewed me. They said, how come all the organizations have endorsed you? You are a Christian, and in Pakistan, the Christians are not valued or treated equally. I said, same time, there is the High Commissioner of Pakistan who actually made sure that I will not only value and treat it equally, but work in partnership with them to actually make sure that we are symbol to Pakistan. And similarly, whenever he wanted a representation and he couldn't make it, like a Gazette came to Union Society, he sent me there and to be spokesperson for Interfaith Harmony and to speak on behalf. And then he sent me to Turkey with Habitat 2 International Conference, where I was his main speaker. And the examples are endless.
Yeah.
And where that is called really and truly people's value and accept each other without any prejudices.
And can we also give this opportunity to Mr. Ahmed to say something about you, and then we will say goodbye to you, and I will continue my interview with Mr. Khan. Ahmed Saab, would you like to say anything about Mr. Shera, please?
Well, John, I will say that I am very fortunate to have known James Shera, to have become his brother, because I have rarely found a human being who has so much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
James, can you hear me? James, I think he can't hear. John's a check.
Hello, Mr. Shera, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
James, can you hear me?
Yes, I didn't follow you what you said.
Okay, so but our viewers know that what he's talking about.
Yes, James, I'm talking about you, and I'm saying that.
Sorry, it's not very clear.
Is it clear now? Can you hear me now?
Hello, John.
He can't
sorry,
hear John.
Shera Saab, don't worry about this, because our viewers knows that what he's saying. Don't worry about this.
Achha, so for the viewers, I want.
Is this?
He's talking about you.
Yeah, well, I'm grateful who I am. The man, if you look at his commitment, he's commissioner for 3 divisions at the same time in Pakistan, and political agent in the Fatah, and the highest, belong to the highest family, traditionally and socially and culturally. He's one of the elitists in every sense of the word. And the Sayyid Ahmed Khan, who actually first promoted English language among Muslims in India, it was also related to him, and very, very highly the culture.
No,
and
no, no. Yeah, I'm 100% agree with you. And in my introduction, I updated my viewers that if anybody wants
and also, if I may mention,
yeah,
the Amna, his daughter,
yeah,
has written a book,
yeah,
Jewels and Crown,
yeah.
and she took 10 religions on board, and each one of them she went to various places. And 25th of December, she went to St. Patrick Cathedral, where Qaeda Muhammad Ali Jinnah celebrated his Christmas. And you know very well, you organized it yourself, and she's a young lady, graduate and postgraduate doctorate from Cambridge, and she is following the same path what Akbar has followed whole life. And her aim is to promote goodwill and reduce animosity and to reduce the barriers which create hate and difficulty within the human being. And his wife, frankly speaking, who's actually behind all the family, very, very committed and dedicated person, a very silent behind the scene. Nobody knows about her, but she's the one who has day and night she supported Akbar. I know, I'm a witness to that, to the hilt, and Akbar is blessed in a way to have a family who are all very close to each other and very committed. And I want to say to you, to bringing him to actually first time in a Christian program. Congratulations to you.
It is our honor. It is our honor. Thank you very much, Shera Saab. Thank you very much.
It is a joy to have him. If I could put 5 more people like Akbar, I'll tell you there will be peace in the world.
Thank you very much, Shera Saab.
Thank you, James, so much.
That is Mr. Shera, and you know that Mr. Shera came to our program so many times. He was the first Pakistani mayor, and fortunately he was from the Pakistani background. He's a Christian, but he's from the Pakistani background, and he was the mayor of Rugby. Dr. Shera has done a lot for Pakistan, and he is recognized across the UK and across the Pakistan. So,
and John, if I had stayed on as High Commissioner, I would have made sure that Dr. James Shera would have been made a Lord, because the contribution to Britain, to Pakistan relations with Britain, to the community have been extraordinary. And he really deserves to be recognized at that level. He has so many honors, he's honored in Britain, he's honored in Pakistan. But I would like to see him being Lord James Shera.
Thank you, Barbara. These are your best wishes, and I equally believe that the time I knew Mr. Shera from the last 12 or 13 years, it is good to know about the activities he's doing for the community. He's doing here as well as for the Pakistani, no matter which religion. He raised the voice for the Muslim, he raised the voice for the Christians, and everywhere, like you. And now we have very few minutes, and I have very some touchy questions which I would like that if you can provide me some solution of this. As a Christians, it's very, very difficult for me. Not all the minority, but the Pakistani Christians are persecuted in the hands of their own people. For example, the blasphemy law was not introduced. There was a law because you read the history, you read the politics, you know India and Pakistan, you know the British law. The blasphemy law was there in 1927, but that law was there to maintain harmony between two nations, two community, Hindus and the Muslim. But unfortunately, at the time of Ziaul Haq in 1986, 295A and B introduced, and that really are killing for the Pakistani Christians. What do you say about this? What we can do about this?
John, this is a very important question because it is a very controversial question. आपको खुद पता है कि people become very jazbati because it is linked to the prestige and the name and the position of the Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him. At the same time, I have been a commissioner in the field, so I have seen how people easily misuse these laws. ये जो laws हैं, as आपने सही फरमाया कि they're coming from the old British days. There are certain laws in the military, certain laws in the civil procedure codes in Pakistan that really are out of date. अंग्रेजों के ज़माने से चले आ रहे हैं. And they give too much authority to the officers, and they can be misused, and they are misused. अब ये जो आसिया बीवी का केस था, आपको पता है, if you go and study it like I did, suddenly realize कि ये तो from nothing they made a big case. वो बेचारे के 10 साल जेल में गुजरे हैं, and threats to life and so on, और अभी भी है. So this is something that only at the highest level in Pakistan, and I would want the leaders of Pakistan at the highest level here, Deputy Commissioner के level की बात नहीं है, that they have to really sit down with the opposition and decide how to deal with this. Yes, we respect the Holy Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him. At the same time, every citizen must be given their rights and be protected from laws that are misused and are prejudicial against them. इतने cases हैं, मैंने खुद इसकी study की है, and I wrote about this, John, I wrote about this. Washington Post में मैंने इस पे बहुत strong article लिखा है. What they do is, आप अगर neighbor हैं, कोई Christian आपका, गरीब Christian neighbor है आपका, उसके पास गाय है या भैंस है, या कोई बेटी है और आपकी नजर गंदी है, अच्छी नहीं है, you can easily misuse that and say, देखो ये तो रसूल पाक के खिलाफ बातें कर रहा था, and suddenly you have created a crisis, and people then get scared, the police get scared, the deputy, the magistrate gets scared, because उसको कोई हाथ नहीं लगाएगा, because वो कहेंगे इसका नतीजा ठीक नहीं. आपने देखा है वो गवर्नर पंजाब के केस में क्या हुआ. So this has to be tackled at the highest level, because all the governments just postpone a decision. ये ऊपर आपके गर्दन पे टंगी हुई है तलवार की तरह, embarrasses the government, embarrasses the public, and creates uncertainty for the Christian community.
अच्छा, ये मुझे
For the sake of justice, नहीं John, देखिए, for the sake of justice, because Pakistan must give justice.
Yes.
Islam's basis is adl. Adl means justice. ये अल्लाह ताला का नाम है. Islam has to resolve this issue in the spirit of justice and compassion for the minorities. Because वो Christian जो है, मैं जानता हूँ at that level, I know them, I can vouch for them. कोई Christian, कोई ईसाई खड़े होके रसूल पाक के खिलाफ बात नहीं करेगा. Because he's grown in a culture. एक culture में अगर आप पैदा हुए हैं, when you're living in that culture. अब ये जेम्स शेरा, the amount of respect he has कायदे आज़म के लिए, I know this because ये मेरा बड़ा करीबी दोस्त है, भाई की तरह है. So he opens his heart to me. So I know how much love and respect he has for कायदे आज़म. So I don't expect him to even say anything against Qaid Azam, though many Pakistanis may do it, because he's grown up in a certain culture and he has that respect in his heart. So, John, I would really appeal to top leaders of Pakistan, इस पर not publicly but privately बैठे and decide course of action which must resolve this issue, because ये अभी resolve नहीं हुआ है और ये चलता रहेगा. It's become a problem which erupts from time to time. ये मेरी thinking.
बस हमारे पास सिर्फ 2 मिनट है. मेरा दिल करता था कि ये प्रोग्राम जो है वो 2 से 4 घंटे का हो जाए और हम आपसे इतनी सारी बातें करें. इन द एंड, व्हाट इज योर मैसेज थ्रू आवर चैनल? व्हाट डू यू वांट टू गिव अ मैसेज टू आवर व्यूअर्स?
आपके चैनल का, जॉन, पहले तो आई एम ग्रेटफुल दैट यू इनवाइटेड मी. इतनी फैसिनेटिंग बातें हुई हैं, एंड आई ऑलवेज लर्न फ्रॉम इंटरेक्शंस लाइक दिस आपसे, और ये जो गुफ्तगू हुई है, एंड आई एम सो ग्रेटफुल टू Dr. Shera. इतने प्यार से ये बातें करते हैं that I feel embarrassed because I am not deserving of his respect and his love. At the same time, message मेरा simple है to all Pakistanis, या ईसाई हो या मुसलमान हो या Christians हो या हिंदू हो, that you must follow one ideal, and that is the ideal of Qaid Azam. Qaid Azam ने जो कहा था, पाकिस्तानी मुझे कहते हैं कि नहीं जी, Qaid Azam ने कुछ हमें बताया नहीं. कि उनकी स्पीचेस पढ़े खुदा के लिए, आप उनकी स्पीचेस हैं, अवेलेबल हैं, उनकी बातें हैं, उनका बिहेवियर, उनका रवैया देखें आप, एंड ट्राई टू फॉलो दैट. जब कायदे आज़म ने कहा था, इफ यू फॉलो दिस, पाकिस्तान विल बी वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट नेशंस ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, कायदे आज़म ने कहा था. अब आप उसको एक तरफ करके आप अपने पाथ पे जा रहे हैं. आप देखें, हर 2 दिन 3 दिन के बाद मैं सुनता हूँ, एक दिन शियाओं को मार दिया, एक दिन ईसाइयों पे हमला कर दिया. इट्स नो लॉन्गर क्वेश्चन ऑफ मुस्लिम नॉन मुस्लिम. जो आ गया सामने, अगर आप मुझे नहीं पसंद करते, मैं जो बातें कर रहा हूँ, मार दो इसको. सो कायदे आज़म ने जो आपको एक मैं तो कहता हूँ एक किस्म का मैप दिया है फॉर नेशनहुड, उसको फॉलो करें, और उसको आप फॉलो करेंगे तो you'll be able to build up a very strong nation with unity. Unity means between Christians, Muslims, and the communities, with discipline and with faith. ये जो बातें हैं, I think is very important. मेरा message for your channel.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Akbar Ahmed. Thank you for joining us. It was our privilege to have you in our program, and thank you for giving your valuable time. And if you have a time, we will also would like to have another interview whenever you are available, because there is too much that we need to discuss with you. Thank you for joining. It was lovely to have you in our program.
Thank you, John. It was my honor. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you put so much effort and you did so much research to talk to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.